this is Josh from Sorcerer Studios, and welcome to episode 15 of the Dungeon Game Dev series. Now, as you can see, right over here, he is freaking out, the brute, and this is what I was talking about, I believe a couple of episodes ago, with the with the AI system for following not working very well. So that's a big problem that I will have to fix. Although I'm not going to fix it in this episode. I'm probably going to wait until a different episode to do it, because this episode is going to be a rather short one because I'm very busy today. But that doesn't mean that it's going to be any less exciting than all the other ones. So without further ado, let's begin. So here's what the plan is. Last episode I worked on making the base structure for this room, and as you remember, I made a time lapse for making this structure in the middle. And oh yes, I still need to repair that hole. So for this episode, I'm going to begin decorating it, and this actually is not part of it. This is part of a random generation that was in the old room that basically randomly generated tables and chairs around. But I'm going to get rid of that for this room because it doesn't need that yet. So I'm pretty much going to make it so that Ethan has to navigate around the room and get into that corner over there. Now, it's not very well lit, but here it is, and he basically has to sneak around the edge and move behind crates and boxes to avoid being seen by the enemies in the middle. And that's the plan. It's primarily just to work on some core functions of Ethan. It might not really be actually part of the storyline, but I'm just making it just to find out how it works and how to further set up the AI for the enemies. And speaking of the enemies, these guys are still going crazy. I'm going to delete them when I begin working, and I'm going to be working right now. So let's see how far I can get in the short amount of time that I have. So as you can remember, I made this crate asset a couple of episodes ago, and this is pretty much going to be what I'll be using for now as one of the props, and I'm definitely going to need to make a couple more. And yes, as you have guessed, Ethan can still break them with his magic attack. I still don't know if I'm going to keep that. I kind of just added that for fun, but we'll see how it's going to go. So probably in the future I'm going to make some more props. I don't know if I'll have time in this episode, but I'll see what I can do. And I've already started by placing some torches here, so let's see how it goes. So one thing that I'm keeping in mind when making the props is that Ethan actually has the ability to crouch. If I were to hold C, he can do a little crouch walk, and I set up a little dummy set of sentinels here, and I say dummy because they're not doing anything, and yes, their animations are not set up yet, so they're just in their default T-pose. So I'm just kind of using those as examples as I sneak around them. I go around these boxes. Why am I going so fast? Okay, well that's a bug that we'll have to fix. Yeah, for some reason he can go very fast. So yeah, things are obviously still a work in progress, but that's what I'm keeping in mind when making these props. So I'm pretty much just going to set up a prototype, nothing too fancy, just something that's good enough to be worthy to begin the system where the sentinels can see him versus not seeing him. So without further ado, I'm going to continue with that. So here's a very rough prototype of where the placement of the obstacles are going to be. Now obviously it looks very ugly with just the boxes. I'm definitely going to make more props for this, more different types of props, but that's probably going to be saved for the next episode. So probably the plan is I'm going to make this part 1 this episode, and the next episode will be part 2 of making props and basically decorating this room. So basically, as I mentioned previously, Ethan is going to sneak around props here using some sort of sneaky system, and he's going to escape up here, and there are more things to come from up here. So that's pretty much what the plan is, and very happy to begin making a new part of this dungeon. So without further ado, I hope you guys enjoyed this very short video. I do apologize for it being short, but without further ado, I will see you in the next video in part 2. Goodbye.